In today's YouTube video, I want to talk about how much Casper in order to potentially become a Casper millionaire. And quick disclaimer, these are all hypothetical scenarios and there is absolutely no guarantee that any of it is going to happen. And also on top of that, I am not a financial advisor. And before I get started with the video, I first want to mention how the current price of Casper is sitting at around 4 cents and the market cap is around $470 million. The current circulating supply is 93%. However, it's important to keep in mind that Casper has no max supply and also Casper has an inflation rate. And when it comes to this, I will actually talk about it later on in the video. Just keep in mind that as the circulating supply changes, these calculations may be affected. And now with all that being said, let's take a look at some hypothetical millionaire scenarios. And if we take a look at this, if Casper were to reach the price of $1, it would have a market cap of $10.7 billion. And it would approximately be at 22x from here. And at that point, you would need to own 1 million Casper in order to become a Casper millionaire. And 1 million Casper, by the way, is worth $44,000. So that is how much you would need to have invested right here, right now, in order to potentially become a Casper millionaire if Casper were to reach the price of $1. And now some people must be thinking, oh, $44,000, oh, that's a lot. And I agree, $44,000 is a lot. A lot of people don't even have that in their entire crypto portfolio, let alone one single crypto. However, I will say this, right? What other side business or side hustle do you know can turn $44,000 into $1 million? I mean, it's pretty rare. And for the people who don't have $44,000 to put into Casper, I think Casper still reaching the price of $1 still could potentially generate amazing gains for the people who don't even have that much to put in. Because for example, right, let's say someone were to invest $1,000 into Casper right here, right now, and Casper were to reach the price of $1 and do a 22x, they would have managed to turn their $1,000 into $22,000. And that's really good. Turning $1,000 into $22,000, I mean, that's really amazing. And the next milestone I want to talk about is the price of Casper at $3, which by the way is around a 68x from here. And at that point, in order to become a millionaire, you would need to own around 333,000 Casper, which as of right now is worth $14,600. And do I think Casper can reach the price of $3 in the future? Yes, I do. In fact, I believe that Casper will reach the price of $3 during the next bull run. And the reason why I say that is because if Casper were to reach the price of $3, it would only have a market cap of around $32 billion. And a $32 billion market cap, you know, it may seem like a lot, but in the world of cryptos, it's actually not that much in the grand scheme of things, because you got to keep in mind, Shiba Inu back in 2021 reached a market cap of over $40 billion. And Shiba Inu is a meme coin. And the fact that a meme coin can do a 40+ billion in market cap, you know, if I think about that, why can't Casper at least go to 32 billion? If anything, I think Casper, especially when I consider how amazing it is, I think 32 billion is actually very realistic. And now I want to talk about Casper reaching the price of $5. And at that point, Casper would have a market cap of over $53 billion. And it would be a 113x from here. In order to become a millionaire at that point, you would need to own 200,000 Casper, which as of right now is worth $8,800. Personally speaking, I think Casper can reach a $53 billion market cap really easily. And the reason why I say that is because if you look back 2 years ago, Solana at its peak reached a market cap of over $78 billion. And Solana, in my opinion, fundamentally speaking, is just not as good as Casper. For example, Solana doesn't allow for upgradable smart contracts and NFTs. And also on top of that, Solana doesn't allow for a single node type. But on the other hand, Casper allows for all of that to happen. And Solana is also extremely unreliable. You take a look at the network, it has been down 8 separate times in the past year alone. You know, and that's totally not acceptable. In my opinion, a layer 1 blockchain should not be down that many times in just 1 year, let alone, you know, ever. And if you take a look at this chart, last year, over 5% of the total crypto hacks that happened occurred on the Solana ecosystem. And that's really bad in my opinion. In terms of security, the Solana network, it's just not really that good. And I know, right, a lot of the Solana fanboys watching right now, they may be triggered. They may be saying, oh man, but you know, Solana's big. You know, all these Solana fanboys, they like to pull out their G-string. You know, they like to pull out the love letters that, you know, their girlfriend's boyfriend wrote their girlfriend. They like to do all this type of stuff. And they like to praise the size of Solana. And look, right, I can't disagree. Solana is very big right now. It's a lot bigger than Casper. But if you actually take a look at it, you won't see any of this type of nonsense going on the Casper network. You just won't see it. And why is that? It's because Casper doesn't have a lot of issues. The network is extremely reliable. And also something that really annoys me about Solana is the Solana phone. I mean, who's going to use that, right? You know, I can't believe that Solana would use their time, energy, and resources to even develop a phone in the first place. You know, it's complete nonsense. I mean, who's going to use the Solana phone? I mean, just think about it. The only person I could think of to ever use that phone is a guy who would let another dude raw dog their girlfriend. You know, that's the only type of person I think of that would actually use that. In my opinion, that phone is complete caca. So if Solana could reach a $78 billion market cap despite not being as fundamentally as amazing as Casper, I don't see why Casper reaching a $50+ billion market cap is really out of the realm of possibility. When you take a look at having upgradable smart contracts and NFTs, you take a look at network security, you take a look at the ability of having a single node type, you take a look at network reliability, you take all of this into consideration, Casper just beats Solana in all of these categories. And now I want to talk about an even bigger milestone for Casper, and that is Casper at $8, which by the way is around a 182x from here. And at that point, Casper would have a $85.9 billion market cap. If Casper were to reach that price, you would need to own 125,000 Casper in order to become a Casper millionaire. And I think this is a very realistic target for Casper, especially when I consider how another meme coin, not Shiba Inu, this time Dogecoin, at its peak reached an over $88 billion market cap. And Dogecoin doesn't even have 1% of the utility that Casper has. So if Dogecoin can reach 88+ billion, why can't Casper at least reach 85.9 billion? At least that's the way I take a look at it, especially when I consider how amazing the use case is for Casper. And now I want to talk about an even bigger milestone when it comes to Casper, and that is Casper at the price of $20, which by the way is a staggering 457x from here. And at that point, it would have a market cap of over $214 billion. And to become a millionaire at that point, you would need to own 50,000 Casper, which by the way is worth, as of right now, $2,200. So for anyone out there who owns 50,000 Casper right now, if Casper were to reach the price of $20, you all would potentially become millionaires. And Casper reaching $20 for me is more of a long-term goal. You know, do I think it's going to reach $20 during the next bull run? You know, no, I don't. I think that's going to be more for a long-term goal for Casper. But I do think Casper can reach this eventually, it's just not the next bull run. And why do I think Casper will reach $20? You know, not financial advice. The reason why I think so is because Casper is focused on enterprise adoption. Casper is actually focused on being implemented by actual businesses. You know, if you take a look at other layer 1 blockchains out there, they're not really primed for enterprise adoption. A lot of them are focused on the retail market. But Casper is actually focused on being implemented and used by institutions. When you take a look back in history, what fostered the growth for internet adoption? It was enterprises. And why is that? Because enterprises, they have the most capital, they have the most resources, and they have the volume to actually facilitate growth at a much larger scale. And I think this time around, it's going to be no different. I think when it comes to cryptos, the future of it is going to be enterprise adoption. And the fact that Casper is focused on it right here, right now, truly speaks volumes as to the vision that Casper has moving forward, especially in the future. Once we see massive large-scale adoption for Casper by large-scale institutions, you know, when that happens, I think Casper reaching $20 at that point is actually very undervalued, because just imagine, right, multi-billion-dollar businesses implementing and using Casper on a daily basis. Can you just imagine what happens to the price of Casper at that point? I mean, it's just going to absolutely blast through the roof, right? It's going to be fantastic. Once businesses start implementing it, there's no telling as to how high Casper can actually go. So when I take all of that into consideration, I think Casper reaching the price of $20, you know, I think that's inevitable for Casper. You know, I think it's going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of time. And of course, this is just my opinion, but I believe Casper has such an amazing future ahead. And now, with all that being said, I now want to talk about the top 4 reasons as to why I am bullish on Casper. Reason number 1, it is because I believe that Casper is the best layer 1 blockchain out there. Casper is enterprise optimized and is not only proof of stake, but it's also scalable. And on top of that, it is future proof with upgradable contracts and predictable gas fees. Oftentimes when people think about the best layer 1 blockchain out there, they think about Ethereum. However, you have to understand, even with Ethereum 2.0, Ethereum still isn't scalable. Even though, yes, it is proof of stake, it still can't fix its scalability issues. Unlike Casper, essentially Casper is Ethereum 3.0. If we take a look at this chart, yes, Ethereum is fully permissionless and decentralized with a single node type like Casper. However, Ethereum is not developer friendly. And yes, while Ethereum does have Turing complete smart contracts like Casper and is also mathematically secure like Casper, it does not have professional services from the original developers. And on top of that, Ethereum doesn't have upgradable smart contracts and NFTs. Casper has continuous integration and continuous deployment, while Ethereum only does so with proprietary tools only. Yes, Ethereum does share some strengths when it comes to Casper. However, when it comes to the complete package, I think Casper is hands down the clear winner. Yeah, Ethereum does have more fans, it has more of a following, it has a larger ecosystem, but in my opinion, especially when I consider the fundamentals of Casper, I just think it is simply the best. Reason number 2 is because Casper is focused on enterprise adoption, and I truly do believe that the future of cryptos will be enterprise adoption. Enterprises, they have the most capital, they have the most resources, and they have the volume to accommodate growth at a much larger scale. In fact, the global blockchain technology market is projected to reach more than $1.4 trillion by 2030, and most of this is largely driven by enterprise adoption. In fact, as of right now, 94% of Fortune 500 executives have begun planning blockchain initiatives. And on top of that, 89% of Fortune 500 executives as of right now believe that the next 10 years of Web3 innovation will define the next 100 years of business. And what's even more shocking is how, as of right now, 75% of global executives fear a loss of competitive advantage if they don't adopt blockchain technology. And with all that being said, I think it's fair to assume that Casper is focused on the right thing. They are focused on enterprise adoption, and clearly the future of cryptos is heading towards enterprise adoption. And why do I think enterprises will actually adopt Casper? The reason why I think so is because first generation blockchains, as of right now, have fundamental compromises. They also have complex codes, have unsustainable fees, and they have archaic and static tooling. However, Casper instead is able to scale without sacrifice. It's low risk and easy to use. It has sustainable cost and is future-proof as well. And that is why, despite having many layer 1 blockchains out there, I think Casper will be the clear pick when it comes to enterprises in the future. Reason number 3, it is because of CEP78, which is Casper's very own enterprise-grade NFT standard. And the reason why I think CEP78 is just so special is because most NFTs nowadays don't have the ability to be upgraded or customized after they have been deployed. And this is what's hindering institutions from adopting NFTs on a large scale. However, with CEP78, NFTs can be upgraded and customized after they have been deployed. Quite essentially, with CEP78, Casper has found a solution for NFTs to be adopted on a large scale. And I think NFTs will be absolutely massive in the future. Yeah, NFTs are down right now. However, I think NFTs will pick up again in the long run. In fact, by 2030, the NFT market is projected to be worth over $211 billion. And the fact that Casper has their very own enterprise-grade NFT standard, in my opinion, really sets them up for success in the future. Reason number 4, last but not least, it is because Casper has an amazing staking ratio. In fact, Casper has a higher staking ratio than Cardano, Avalanche, Polkadot, Phantom, Near, and Polygon. I mean, just imagine that. When people think about top blockchains, they don't think about Casper, they think about Cardano, they think about Avalanche. But in fact, Casper has a higher staking ratio than both of them. If you told a Cardano fanboy that Casper has a higher staking ratio than Cardano, they would be like, oh, what? No way. They wouldn't believe it. They'd be like, oh, no, that's not true. But in fact, that is true. Casper is the real deal, in my opinion, and it is just so underrated. Not many people think about Casper as being an amazing layer 1 blockchain, but in fact, it really is. And that is 4 reasons why I am bullish on Casper. I think Casper is amazing. And now I want to talk about the inflation rate when it comes to Casper. However, to give it more context, I first want to talk about how Casper will soon be upgrading to Casper 2.0. And I want to talk about how this upgrade will actually affect the inflation rate when it comes to Casper. So with all that being said, let's jump straight into it. With Casper 2.0, the inflation rate of Casper is planned to be reduced. Because as of right now, the inflation rate of Casper is around 8%, and this should in theory be lower with Casper 2.0. And by the way, some people like to mention how 8% is a lot. However, if you take a look at Polkadot, for example, the inflation rate of Polkadot is around 10% right now. And also, if you take a look at Solana, its inflation rate is sitting at around 8%, much like Casper. So when it comes to Casper, the inflation rate actually isn't that crazy. It's actually very normal. I think a lot of people may think that 8% is a lot, but again, right, it's very similar to Polkadot and Solana. If Casper had something crazy like 15%, 20% inflation, then yeah, I get why a lot of people would be worried, but again, right, 8% is very normal. 8% is already in line with the likes of Polkadot and Solana, so the fact that it has the potential to be even lower than that with Casper 2.0 is amazing in my opinion. And also, I want to talk about some things that Casper is trying to achieve with Casper 2.0. First of all, with Casper 2.0, Casper aims to create a new and improved consensus mechanism, which means that the Zug protocol will introduce a faster and more secure successor to the Highway protocol that powered Casper 1.0's consensus model. And also with Casper 2.0, it will enable the creation of unified accounts and unified contracts. And keep in mind, Casper is already the only blockchain out there that enables upgradable smart contracts. However, with Casper 2.0, it will introduce a more powerful set in which everything on Casper is a contract. And contracts have all the properties of accounts, including the ability to pay for transactions and to stake on the network. This right here will enable a more user-friendly user experience, making onboarding users onto the blockchain that much easier. And last but not least, Casper 2.0 will allow for an open validator model. So long story short, Casper is planning a lot of amazing things with Casper 2.0. However, keep in mind there is actually going to be a lot more features with the release of Casper 2.0, but this is just what has been revealed so far. There is more to come when it comes to Casper 2.0. We just have to stay tuned. I am so excited for Casper 2.0. I think it's going to truly allow Casper to grow to even bigger heights in the future. And when it comes to my buying strategy, it always remains the same. It is the dollar cost average. I am buying Casper anytime I earn any income. So the price of Casper can pump, it can dump, it doesn't matter. Anytime I earn any sort of income, boom, I straight away buy more Casper. And look, right, I'm not trying to time the market. I'm not trying to day trade. I'm not trying to swing trade. I'm not doing any of that whatsoever. All I am doing is I'm buying, I'm holding, and I will cash out during the next bull run. That's it. It's that simple. And some people like to ask, oh, what happens if you buy Casper and then the price goes down? What happens? Well, my response to that is, if that happens, next time I earn income, I'll just buy Casper again. Because the way I view it is that the losses I'm seeing on my portfolio, it's actually an unrealized loss. The way I take a look at it is that only if I sell, then it becomes a realized loss. As long as I don't sell, I view it again, right, as an unrealized loss. And my goal isn't to time the bottom perfectly. My goal is to just not miss out on the run when it comes to Casper. Because I'd much rather experience some quote-unquote unrealized losses over trying to time the bottom, not being able to, and end up just missing out on the opportunity. Trying to time the bottom, in my opinion, could prove to be very dangerous. A lot of people oftentimes try to time the bottom and then they fail and they end up just FOMOing in later on when the price is pumping, and I don't want to do that. Trying to time the bottom is like people who do parkour. It's very dangerous, and most of the time people always end up getting wrecked. And again, that is why I dollar cost average. I am taking a long-term approach when it comes to Casper. And I want to give a massive shout out to Fabrice, Kig, and as well as Barbarian Cauldron, and as well as everyone else who always watches my Casper videos. I greatly appreciate it, and I thank you so much. Thank you so much for the continued support. What is up? And if you want to know why I think Casper will shock the world, go ahead and check out this video. It's amazing, it's wonderful, and it's fantastic, and I think you all would love it. So go ahead and check it out.